Ron, we advocated for you. Ron, we advocated for you. You ain't getting up to get up in there and lie to us. You lied, Ron. Shame, Ron.
Shame! This is the thing that seems to be, it recurs throughout history, the history of communism, is that you just have these, and I mean, people like Lenin, I think it's Lenin who coined the term useful idiots, if I remember correctly.
Yes, yeah.
It's transparent that you're just being used for the power, for the people that want to have this utopian vision and think they can deliver utopia if only they have total power. Is that how you think about it? Why do you think what motivated Mao from your perspective?
It's power, and power is never enough, and he wanted absolute power. So, and this is something I think I try to make it understandable for people here. And it's not really about woke. It's not really about oppressed people, marginalized people, about DEI. It's about power. It's everything we talk about is because Mao want to secure power. And what's happening here is the same. It's about power. Everything we see is just tactics. It's a revolution. And that is Cultural Revolution that I experienced, the same thing. And people ask me to recall my memory of the Cultural Revolution, and the chaos is one of the things. People on the street, and then instead of Antifa, it's Red Guards. It's the college kids, and down all the way down to elementary school kids.
So how did he? So Mao. How did he actually go about recruiting these young people who would be, this is the Red Guard you're talking about? How did he get the students from across the country to just turn into this monstrous foot soldier of doom?
It took 17 years since the day that they took power, 1949 to 1966. The party had total control of the educational system. So we can understand why the kids now are so indoctrinated. They have decades in America that control the school. But that 17 years was enough for them for Mao to indoctrinate an entire generation of young people who knew nothing of the past. I was one of them. I was too young to be a Red Guard. I knew nothing about Chinese culture or civilization or nothing. I was taught everything in the past is bad, is evil. It should be destroyed. And so we don't know anything of the past, and we believe everything's in the future. We believe that everything we have today was great because Mao took us out of the evil past and gave us, we call it the new society, new China. And we were taught that we are the luckiest children in the world because we're born into this new China, and we have the life that was the envy of the world. And we believed it. They say, how can you believe how stupid it is? I did not know anything else. Everything they told me is the only source of information. I believed everything. And so that is why by the time the Mao, and they are also taught that Mao is our real parent. Mao is our great leader, our savior, and our real parent. So you listen to him, and you answer, and your greatest honor and duty is to defend Mao. Now Mao asks you to do one thing. Mao told us that we are in danger. China is in danger. Our educational system has been infiltrated by the bourgeois, by those capitalist rollers. The people want to take us back to capitalism. They are evil people. We have to get them out. That's it.
So what was he telling the kids to do? What was their directive?
Their directive is take down the people in power. And your principals, your teacher, your mayor, your governor, whoever in power, because that was his goal. Cultural Revolution started in May 1966. And then the killing took place in August 1966. Only 3 years, only 3 months. So during that 3 months, it started with destroy statues, change names, burning books, to killing.
In a very real sense, like teenagers, young adults, I mean, they're just they're very receptive to this because they're the new generation. They don't want to listen. It's not fun to be told what to do by older people that in authority. It seems like a big part of what Mao was doing, and frankly, what our school system has done that follows him, when in different ways, was just preying on this like sort of teenage angst, like this youthful zeal to want to be the new thing and out with the old, in with the new. We're the new generation. That I don't need to listen to you because you're my parents and you don't know anything. It's like, how much, like, is that how you understand why young people took to this? Is that not really? Was there something else going on?
That's part of it. That's part of it. But I think the real reason is Mao gave them the power. Mao openly on the Tiananmen Square tower said he said, "You are my Red Guards. I'm your Red Commander in Chief. I am behind you. I support you. That means I grant you the permission to do whatever." It's power. It's when they know that they have the backing of Mao, they could do anything and no one can stop them. And you would ask, well, where are the police? Well, there's no such thing as defund the police. The police were totally dismantled. There's no police. And so they could do whatever. So all you need to do is to wear a badge, said Red Guards, and you have the power to destroy. You have the power to kill. Many young kids killed people just because they could.
As I understand it, the Red Guard got too crazy even for Mao. Is that right?
So the first group of Red Guards were the children of the elites. Okay, so they said, they thought that's about destroying the tradition, destroying the past, but no, and then they realized their parents were Mao's real target. By then, more other people. By then, Red Guards were no longer elite organization, so other people joined in. Those people were the victims of those CCP elites. They hate those CCP elites who have to rule over them, like the new ruling class. So they really went after those leaders, so-called political leaders, and absolutely violently just went after them. I mean, seemingly normal kids turned into killers pretty much overnight.
Yes, it sounds like Lord of the Flies. It's just a total animalistic behavior. Going after your parents is so hard to imagine, because it's such a close bond.
Here is really, people need to understand, when you're indoctrinated, you absolutely could not think. So once your parents were denounced, you don't have a choice but denouncing them. So there's a lot of stories and of kids join the Red Guards and beat up, even kill their parents.
How much of it was just jealousy? It seems like it's very direct. This activity was all directed at those who are older or in any kind of position of authority. So was he really tapping into just jealousy to stoke this violence?
I think so. And this is something that a lot of people overlooked. Why Mao could mobilize so many people in the beginning, it was kids in college or high school or elementary school. Later, the factory workers joined in, mostly young people, because they absolutely hate those who have been ruling over them. So do you see that? Yeah. Mao knew that those people hate those party leaders, party bosses, in every level. That's why those people just absolutely joined in and really took those people they hate without mercy. I think that's it's not envy; it is resentment and hatred, and so eventually. Eventually 20-some million people lost their lives during the Cultural Revolution. And so after 2 years, the Red Guards pretty much finished the job. And then what happened? They thought, well, we did this for Mao. Now it's time for us to think about getting a seat at the table. That's how they thought. They started to fight each other for power. And that was the time that China was descent into civil war. Eventually, it got so out of control. Mao said, that's enough. Enough is enough. So he sent the military to take care of the most violent faction. I don't know how many, tens of thousands or hundreds of thousands were killed. This time, by the military. And so then eventually he summoned the leaders, Red Guard leaders in Beijing, and say, you disappointed me. And now you're out. And no more Red Guards. And send all of them to the countryside to get their re-education. That's what happened to the useful idiots that I so badly want people, the Antifas or BMMers, to learn. But those in power, they know what's going on. They are serious. They are serious. They have an army of useful idiots, like those people you describe. And then now they have half a country. Basically, 2024, half of the country voted for communism. And now in New York City, they choose a communist to be their mayor. That's serious matter. And that is absolutely, to me, it threatened the survival of our republic.
As we start to wrap up, what do you say to the person that tries to draw these subtle distinctions? Oh, how dare you? Zoran Mamdani is not a communist, even though he talks about seizing the means of production, which is out of the Communist Manifesto. He's a democratic socialist. He's not a Maoist. He's a Democrat. How do you respond to these types of arguments?
I try to tell people this all the time. When I grew up, I have a pretty good Marxist education, right? My growing up in China, my first 20 years was indoctrination. And I know Marxism pretty well. And so according to Marxism, okay, so socialism is the initial stage of communism. Socialism leads to communism. So socialism, communism is the same thing. Okay, it's the same thing. You can add some adjective Democratic socialism is still socialism. Now they have a new party, revolutionary communism. It's still communism. Progressive is communism. Leftist is communism. Today, I'm talking about today. Democratic Party is a communist party. That's where we're today. That is no joking that we have, that, as I said earlier, the America's dominant worldview has transformed into Marxist worldview, and a lot of people don't even recognize it. This is something I really have to emphasize. So far, we talk about a lot about cultural Marxism. Cultural Marxism is basically use race, use the marginalized people, this intersectionality, right?
Yes.
Put people in groups, and put in what kind of group? Victim group.
Yeah.
But now there is a comeback of the classic Marxism that is class-based. That is what you hear from Bernie Sanders, and we hear from Mamdani. This is really bothering to me, because classic Marxism is the class-based Marxism did not work in the United States because capitalism created enough wealth and created a huge middle class. And no one wants to join the revolution to overthrow capitalism. But
Right.
now they're talking about the class. Why? They have successfully created a proletarian class. First, those are the class that are dependent on the government. And those are the welfare class. And now they import tens of millions of new proletarian from the third world. And now they have big enough a class. Now it's called proletarian, or the new proletarian, I call that, the new proletarian. Now they start to talk about class Marxism plus race Marxism and cultural Marxism. So now they're joined force, and now they talk about affordability, right? Affordability. And so this is something we have to be aware. Now it is more than just cultural Marxism. It's everything Marxism now attacking our system and seek to destroy it. And so there is something else I really want to make a point of. So I came here, and by the time I came here, I hate communism. I hate communist China. I hate everything about it. And so I came here, and so I want to be American, even though I don't know exactly what it meant. But I wanted to be American so much. But and of course, I married American, and that helped a lot. But I just have to say, the process of assimilation was long, and it's not easy. I made a conscious decision to want to be American by studying American history, by, I like to travel. Whenever I travel, I make sure I always include places of historical importance, because I want to really immerse myself into this culture. And now today, I say I've become more American. I've been here longer than I was in China. I absolutely an American. But this did not happen to everyone. That is something I really want to point out. People like me experience the exact same thing and indoctrinated by CCP. They came to America and they get indoctrinated again. Many of them, not just a small number. And they were indoctrinated by the cultural Marxism, by the Democratic Party. They came here and they were taught that they're victims because they're not white. And this country, they don't like immigrants like you. So you'll come to my party, I'll protect you. There were so many Chinese came here, never really tried to assimilate. And they automatically vote for the Democratic Party. They are savior. They are protector. So that is a very, very sad fact that there are people who live through communism and came here that could not tell that there's another form of communism. It is not quite exactly like what you experience in China, but it is communism. It's cultural Marxism, and it's progressiveness, it's leftist, whatever name you call it. So they got indoctrinated again. And so that is something, and I feel really, really strong about. And I think I not only have to wake up Americans, I also have to wake up a lot of Chinese. They have been here a long time. They go to work. Yeah, they speak English, but and then after that they really just associate or socialize with other Chinese, and they just feel like they are not part of this society. It's very sad.
America is very distinct in our relationship with immigration because there almost nobody except for the Native Americans are, have their lineage here. And of course, if you go all the way back to the Mayflower, fair enough, right? But we are very much an immigrant country that was first overwhelmingly, obviously, British and European, and that's our roots, that's our heritage as Americans. But then, I'm Italian descent completely, so all of my ancestors, came here in the 1920s, and we have these two things happening. On one hand, as I've observed it, and I've traveled a fair amount, I think we integrate immigrants into this country better than probably any other country on planet Earth.
Absolutely. I traveled a lot. I know that as a fact. But something happened. So, when I came here, there's no assimilation class. I just want to be American. But later, I came here in 1986. A few years later in the 1990s, and this new term come along, multiculturalism. Yeah. And in the beginning, I did not see anything wrong with it. I thought it's kind of funny, but I did participated a lot of the company or school sponsored multicultural day. So I cooked some Chinese meal, contributed. But in the back of my mind, I was thinking, well, if I like my culture that much, why do I bother to come here? And now I know. Now we all know why.
Yeah.
Why? The multiculturalism is basically an anti-assimilation project. They want all of us to remain in the tribes. And so basically not assimilate, basically just remain Chinese, remain Somali. And they have been so successful. And so that is a real problem we are dealing with. Massive immigration, but no assimilation. Not only no assimilation, anti-assimilation, because being American is being white, and that's racist. That's bad. And so that's what we are dealing with today. And I think that it goes back, at least in my experience, multiculturalism.
When I was in college and I went to Penn State, and it was the late 90s. It's funny because there was a little bit of multiculturalism talk. I didn't get hit over the head with it, actually, looking back. And I think maybe it was almost like a little bit of like towards the tail end of it, because there was two waves of this poison. There was that early 90s wave of multiculturalism and political correctness. And then there was a backlash. This is like the original, Bill Maher had his show Politically Correct on TV, Politically Incorrect, because that was part of the wave of backlash to this. And then the monsters just sort of dug in and just found a way to make it even more extreme. But it does seem like the attack today is about undermining any sense of national pride.
Yes.
It's something. Yeah, talk to me about how you understand that, because saying
it's anti-America.
Yeah.
That's it. It's anti-America because multiculturalism is never about America. It's about China, about Peru, whatever. Bring some chicken. I bring some stir fry, but never it's about America. And now today it's come to the extreme. And of DEI, CRT, all this is related. It's all the same string of cultural Marxism. But today, we have people like Jennifer Welch. White people have no culture, and because she bought into this this white guilt, and to her it shows just she's absolutely. And have you heard this word 白左? 白左 is a word that from China. The Chinese, not Chinese here in America, but Chinese in China, mocking the white lefty. And that basically means a white lefty, and because they find them really not only stupid but just lunatic. So
wait, what is it? Wait, say this word again. I'm going to need to adopt this into my lexicon. What is the word?
白左.
白左.
BAI ZOU.
ZOU, by Zol. Yeah. So this is the woke, self-hating, like white urban lefty, like the awful types.
Absolutely. Yeah. This become actually a lot of people know about this term. And I use it as often as I can because Welch is the perfect example of 白左. Hate everything about the American culture because she equate American culture as a white culture. So and self-hate, and for this, I think that is exactly what happened in China. It's not the hate of being white, but the hate of being part of the wealthy. So because if your family was wealthy, you were labeled as the black class. So everyone has a label. So you don't want to, you really don't want to have anything to do with your ancestor or just your parents who own some land or who had just a little bit more than their neighbors, and they were labeled as the black class, and you want to have as little to do with them, and you denounce them, and you become part of the proletariat. That means talk coarse and act no manner. All this is good because that is part of being the right class. The class is the proletarian. It's like here, denounce anything that's American or call it white, and just like the mayor of the Minnesota was trying to eat the Somali food and pretend that he was enjoying it. Yeah, trying to be part of the proletarian. So in the classic Marxism, the original sin is wealth. Even though your wealth was taken, you stuck with it. That's your original sin. In the cultural Marxism and the race Marxism, the original sin is being white.
Yeah,
it's the same idea. It's just a different adaptation.